Hello, good people. I see you. There you are. You know what time it is? It's 12 o'clock on the drop. It's tea o'clock. Come on into the tea room, good folks. Let me know you're here. And of course, what you're sipping on. I actually am drinking some warm water with apple cider vinegar, lemon, and raw honey. I was just feeling like I kind of wanted some alkalizing. Is that a word? Want to alkalize my body for this deliciousness that we're going to have today. So who's here? Let me see. Hi, William. William, I love you. You are always like my first person in the tea room. Thank you. And D. Ferg is here. Hey, Daniel. Okay, so just another minute or so. I'm going to let folks come into the tea room. So fun fact, my mother and my father were born and raised on the south side of Chicago. So even though I'm from Los Angeles, Chi-Town is all through my blood. I spent summers there going to my grandma's house, catching little fireflies in the little glass jar. So this show is very personal to me on a lot of levels. And I have two reasons why, which you guys will find out about in a bit. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to give you guys the conscious reality. That's my goal. We elevate our conversation so we can elevate our life. And let's just dive into the topic today. Chicago fire rising from the ashes of your life. Whew. Okay, so, I graduated from Howard University, the real HU. That'll make sense when I bring my guest on. And I had a job lined up in New York City. I was going into advertising on Madison Avenue. I was supposed to start work on Monday. And something just didn't sit right. There was a fire in my heart that kept pulling me to return to my first love of acting. And I'm like, this is crazy. I have a job lined up. It's steady pay. I just graduated. So on Monday, instead of flying to New York, I actually flew home to Los Angeles to my mother's house. I moved back into my house, my room that I went to high school in. And it was a struggle, y'all. And I was going through the fire because I was getting no's, I was getting rejections. And this is happening for years. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, my friends with real jobs, because you know that conversation, they're buying houses, they're getting married, they're moving forward in their life because, our culture places a premium on having those things, which are great things. There's nothing wrong with that. But here I am, an artist, going with the fire in my heart, pursuing my passion. And it was so hard. It was the most soul crushing, difficult thing to do. And I don't know if you guys experienced that or have experienced that or gone through that, but drop me a comment because I'm hoping this is relatable. I'm not the only one who goes through this. So I had to find a way to extinguish the fire. And this conversation today, just to frame it up for you, is going to be about that. Myself and my esteemed guests, we're going to talk about some of the things that we have done in our life that have moved us through the pain, the fear, and the doubts and the worry, because I like to use fire as a metaphor for what happens once we step through that fear and step into our purpose. So sometimes you have to put the fire of doubt out. And one way that I would do that, one technique that I still use today is I think if you spot it, you got it. And what that means is if it's possible for someone else, then it's possible for me. And that's something that you constantly have to affirm. And we don't know what people have gone through. We see them in their winning season, but we didn't see them in their losing season. So a big part of that is not comparing my life and my path to my colleagues who are getting married and buying houses. And so if any of you suffer from comparison-itis, then you really want to take heed to this. Let me see what the good folks are saying, so I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. Hi, James Noor. You said you completely hear me and relate. Thank you so much for saying that. And Doc Camille, you're here, dear. I'm so glad. That sister has a lot to say about fire. So going back to the fire concept, I really want to look at authenticity. And what that is, it's really about burning away the masks, the labels. I come from a family of academia. I love it. I'm proud of it. My mother is an attorney. My father was an MD. Both of my brothers are PhD doctors. I'm not saying that to tout them. I mean, that's great that they do that. My point is that I'm kind of like the creative black sheep in my family. And maybe that resonates with you. It doesn't matter if your parents or whatever, but you just don't fit into the mold that society or your family says it's you're supposed to do. And that's really the heart of what I'm talking about. And although my mother has always been very supportive, I still had my inner fire, my inner demons, my inner doubts that I had to battle in terms of, can I do this? Can I be accepted? Hearing no after no is hard on the psyche. And maybe you're hearing that, whether it's a business that you're trying to start or if you're looking to have a relationship. So I'm inviting us all to kind of just take this on and put it in your own lap and apply it to your own life. And I think when we burn that away and we stick to what's true, which is what I had to do when I decided to move to LA as opposed to going to New York, then we can blaze a trail. We can blaze a new path. And just like a phoenix who is reborn out of the ashes, we leave the past in the past. We leave the doubters and the haters in the past. And then we can rise up and something new is reborn from something that was damaged. So I'm inviting us all to take whatever the constriction may be, or the frustration, or the no, or the block, or the wall in our life. Carl has a comment. So let me make sure my computer just let me know. Carl has something to say. Carl Gilliard, that you really stand in the awareness that something new is emerging, and that you allow the phoenix, the mythological figure of the phoenix, to arise up out of you. And that is the point of this conversation today. So I'm going to wrap this up so that I can get to some good stuff. But I would like to ask you guys, what is something that's being destroyed in your life and something that's being reborn? So drop me a comment. Last thing I want to point out is fire is pure gold, and gold is your dream. So think of a dream or a goal or something that you want to achieve. And it can be something small, or it can be something major. It can be a life purpose goal, or it could just be a 3-month goal. But let's look at that right now. And let's allow fire to burn out the impurities, okay? And then the purities are doubts. The purities are the thoughts that you say to yourself that says, I can't do this, or when is it going to happen for me, or it'll never happen for me, or maybe I should just give up. Because as my mother had to remind me yesterday, every successful person has walked the no path. All of us, no one has gotten there through just a litany of yeses. It's been more no's than yeses. But the difference is, as the late Nipsey Hussle reminded us, is that they kept going. So that's what our invitation is for us today, to keep going. So speaking of gold, I've got pure gold that I want to introduce to you guys. Let me get rid of this. With my first guest, the man himself, Carl SEATON, who is a Chicago native who grew up loving television and film. He's a director of such hit network TV shows as NBC's Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med of the Dick Wolf franchise. But you know what, y'all? Let's go to the beginning, okay? Carl has roots in low-budget indie filmmaking, and his critically acclaimed film, 1 Week, about an unfaithful groom-to-be who learns that he may have contracted HIV just days before his wedding, was hailed as one of those life-altering movies. You can also catch Carl's work as the director of, now this is a mouthful, Bad Dad Rehab on TV One, which has some great actor and actress friends of mine, so you guys definitely have to check that out. He's worked with and for the legendary and great John Singleton on Rebel on BET, and John's Legacy, the hit drama Snowfall on FX. It's also fitting that Carl is the director of the hit show The Chi on Showtime. And he's gone on to helm other network shows for the CW, including the Supernatural series Legacies, the Originals, and the Dynasty reboot. But it gets good, y'all. It doesn't stop there. He's directed for CBS, as well as been nominated for the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Director in a Drama Series for his episode on Snowfall. Now, I love this about Carl. Carl has the Get Fly Friday, where he wears a suit to set on Friday. So I'm going to have him talk to you guys about that. And speaking of suits, he's also directed the superhero dramas such as CW's Batwoman and Supergirl. And I want to shout out that we do have our first African-American Batwoman. But here's a little unknown fact about Carl. He is the real life superhero. Carl actually selflessly dedicates his time mentoring school-age kids and teaching them about the business and giving of himself. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Carl SEATON. Hi, Carl.
Yeah, how you doing, Caryn? That's a cool intro. It's impressive. It's all right.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's impressive, Carl. I need to give a context for everyone. It is challenging. I don't know if that's not even the right word, to direct television. to be a network television director, particularly in a space that's occupied by largely straight white men, middle-aged men. So being a younger African-American director, I really just want to give you your props and shout you out, because you're paving the way for me and our audience and all marginalized people to occupy space where they traditionally haven't. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm honored to hold that title, you know, and it wasn't handed to me in any way like that. It took a long time to get there. So, you know, I can't forget the journey to get there. So, you know, thank you.
That's what we want to talk about. So tell us, let's just dive in. You said it took a long time to get there. Tell us about that. So how did you move through that and get to where you are?
Wow. Okay. So, man, it depends how much time you got, because, you know, coming from the south side of Chicago, you know, it starts with a dream, you know, that, you know, there's miles, thousands of miles away. You're like, okay, I'm on the south side of Chicago. I love movies. I love film, but, you know, that's not a real thing. And then I saw Do the Right Thing. And not just saw Do the Right Thing, but I saw interviews with Spike Lee and so forth. And that made me make the decision to want to become a director. And I didn't know the difference between a director and a producer and all that. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to have to educate myself. I also come from a family of educators as well. My mom taught, you know what I'm saying? So education was huge in my house, and academics is huge in my house. So I said, okay, let me learn as much as I can about this world. And it's so funny because, you know, the family's like, you want to do what? You know, they don't really understand. You know, as most people that aren't really in the industry, it's a whole different foreign world. So you kind of really have to, you know, prepare yourself and make that, you know, that solid choice. So, you know, once I made that choice to become a filmmaker, you know, I aligned myself with like-minded individuals, you know, like my brother Kenny Young and I started writing together. We studied movies all the time. We challenged each other and things of that nature, constantly building with a singular goal of doing this for a living. That was our we made a pledge to each other years ago. This is what we're going to do for a living, and just were unwavering about that. So one of the biggest things is surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, because it's really easy to surround yourself with, you know, a Debbie or Derek Downer that is just negative and because of whatever they may be dealing with, and they may just be trying to sabotage. You know, they may see your light and be like, let me try to dim their light just because my light isn't glowing. So, you know, you got to be mindful of that, and it can get tricky because it can also come from friends, family. I mean, it doesn't necessarily come from, you know, a foe in opposition. It can come from somebody that loves you. It doesn't want to see you struggle. Exactly. Because the struggle is real, and the struggle can go on and on and on and on. And it's like the first couple of years when you're young, it's cool, it's fun.
Right.
It's well, after year 10, they're like, okay. After year 15, it's like, after year 20, like, oh, what you gonna do? So you really have to kind of, I mean, you really have to kind of find your strength on your own. You can't really depend on other people. You really you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, but you also have to kind of invest it within to really make sure that, you know, this is what you want. This is the path you're on, and embrace the sacrifices that you make. And the sacrifice I'm talking about in particular, like the lifestyle choices, you know, things of that nature. Like, okay, this is what I want to do, so I can't do this and this and this. So I can't get that brand new car. I can't get this brand new house. I can't get, you know, these sneakers or these fresh clothes, whatever like that. You have to just make sacrifices and remind.
Or even go out with your friends. You know, or put a down payment on a house and do other things that other people may. So what I'm hearing you say is that you really have to define yourself for yourself, and your success has to be an internal virtue, not some external confirmation that you have to confirm yourself.
Chasing that external confirmation gets you caught up every time.
Yes.
And you know, it's hard because, you know, you see your friends thriving and moving on and upwardly mobile. You're like, man, what's even worse when your friends hit you like, you're so smart. Why are you doing this? Just go do this, this, and this. And, you know, so you constantly have to check in with yourself like, man. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy at all. And I'm not saying you just come in like, this is what I'm going to do, and tunnel vision. I mean, you waver, and you have to acknowledge the fact that you're wavering, and you have moments where you're like, man, I'm done with all this. This is not what I want.
I think
so. You have to go through those moments.
Oh,
so when
okay. It paused there for a minute, so I wasn't sure if everyone caught what you were saying. but you were talking about a moment of doubt, and that sounds like putting the fire of doubt out. When you're in the middle of the fire, you've got to extinguish anything and anyone that's going to take you off course. So when you were in the fire, Carl, what did you do all these years when you're pounding the pavement? This is for all of us. If those of you are pounding the pavement right now, what did you do to keep yourself going, to keep yourself inspired?
Well, first of all, I've been kicked in the teeth. I've been punched in the back of the head. I've been down, and a couple of times I was down. I was like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? And the time I was done the most was during the height of the recession in 2008, where there was nothing else going on. There wasn't really any other opportunities, because had another opportunity come my way, I would have just jumped on there without really being passionate about it, just out of necessity. So that timing allowed me to say I was done, but not really be done. But what I first had to do was admit that I was down. A lot of people intellectualize the situation. You know what I'm saying? They intellectualize the situations. They don't really acknowledge to themselves, man, I am down. I am not moving in the direction I want to move in, and I'm not happy about it. So when you intellectualize these situations, you get further away from addressing them. And when you don't address them, they just compound. And when they compound, it becomes a pressure cooker, and it can lead to other forms of sickness, depression, and anxiety, and things and it manifests in ways you can't even imagine. So you first have to acknowledge, like, I am not happy. I'm not well. I need to get better. And that's basically like your basement. Once your feet hit the basement, it's like when you jump into a pool that's 8 or 9 feet deep. Once your feet hit the bottom, you can push back up. But if you're just constantly going down and don't even
love that,
you're just going down and going down and going down. So once I acknowledge, like, okay, I am
spiral to an abyss.
You're spiraling into an abyss, exactly, and that spiral can go on endlessly because you haven't hit that bottom. So once you hit that bottom, like, okay, what can I do to get back up? So what I did, I just kind of tapped into what got me in here initially. You know what I'm saying? I went back to the essence of the films I loved, the movies, the TV shows I loved, the books I read, things that got me so excited when I was in film school, when I was coming up, when I was just so charged and so happy about, these, like John Singleton and Robert Townsend and Spike Lee and all these filmmakers putting out this great, this great work that just inspired me. Then that's what I re-tapped into that. That's what kind of kept me going.
I love that. I'm getting some comments from the group, and my mother said, listening to the internal voice is only for you, not for them. Keep listening. Very good point, Mama Ward. And Khalila Joy is saying,
let me say
about
the internal voice, because sometimes your internal voice can be totally negative. So you got to have a conversation and debate with that internal voice and shift it. And it takes a lot. It's easy to have a negative outlook if you've grown up always having a negative outlook. So it takes a lot of effort with that, because that internal dialogue in your head, if it's constantly telling you you're worthless, this is a waste of your time, you're stupid or whatever, that becomes a whole different challenge. So you have to confront that internal dialogue. And this takes a lot of time and a lot of unpacking. So you have to acknowledge that and say, you know what? I'm not going to be on that. And people do different things. They do vision boards. They write things down. They check in with themselves. Sometimes they just talk to themselves. You know what I'm saying? And
I do it all day.
Yeah. So whatever it takes.
Whatever works. So what's the Carl Seaton formula? What are some of the things that you do in particular? I do vision boards. I talk to myself all day. We have one-on-one conversations. What are some of the things? I journal a lot. Are there any things that work for you that you can share with us?
I did vision boards years ago, but mostly I have conversations with myself, and then I write things out. And I go back, I write them out just to get them out, give it a couple of days, and I go back and read them. And then I just analyze them, and I analyze them, and I do self check-ins. Because things can slip through the cracks when you don't really address them, especially over time. So, and then also another big component of the changing of my life was therapy.
Yes.
A lot of black folks don't really believe in therapy. They want to self-medicate with other things and religion and so forth. But especially as African Americans and what we have endured collectively, we need therapy more so than anybody. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when you know how to intellectualize things, you learn how to think you're dealing with things, and you are dealing with them as best you can. But there's so many different elements that can totally keep weighing you down. They become anchors. And when you have therapy, you literally unpack these things. It's like weights being lifted off your chest. So you lifting these weights off your chest, you get lighter, you start thinking differently, you start moving differently, you have a whole different energy. And I'm not into the metaphysical thing, but when you're moving lighter and you're more aligned with yourself and your purpose, things start to gravitate towards you that you can't even fathom.
Right. Well, I will submit to you, Carl, that you're more into the metaphysical than you think. Metaphysical just means beyond the physical, and that you're aware that there's an energy, just like there's a radio transmission and that's happening. We also we broadcast energy and we pull it in. So when you can mind dump, brain dump, get the stuff out, acknowledge, like you said, which I love that you got to acknowledge that you're feeling it. It starts there. And writing is very purifying for me. That's how I get in the fire. And if something is causing me, I usually feel it in my gut. So you got to be real clear where it hits you in your body. For some people, it'll be in your chest. Some of us aren't breathing. Some of you right now aren't breathing. Like, just take a deep breath and just notice throughout the day, are your shoulders up? Are you holding the energy here? Are you holding it in your stomach? Because like you were saying, Carl, which I agree with, it manifests itself in so many ways. For me, it shows up as headaches. And I got a big dome, so I get big headaches. But I got to, really get in the fire and purify those impurities. We had a flurry of questions. I'm going to get to the questions, but I want to acknowledge you as a prominent man, first and foremost, as a human and as a Black man speaking on mental health and going to therapy, because that's a conversation that's so important. And I'm hoping that you're giving space for some of the men and women on this platform to know that it's okay to not be okay.
Well, that's why I like to talk about it, because a lot of people look at it as a badge of shame, and they don't really carry that. But what I tell people, because I'm a huge advocate of therapy, I say, listen, when you get on the other side of it, you'll look back and regret why. You'll be wondering why it took you so long to go through that. Like I said, we as Black people, we've gotten really good at, dealing with things, saying I'm good, I'm not bothered with it, I'm not in my feelings, I'm not affected by this and this thing. And you're told, and that anxiety creeps up on you, because
it does.
At 3 a.m, when you kind of half sleep, it'll get you.
Yeah.
So
yes.
If you want to address it or not, it'll come get you. So and I wish more African Americans would embrace mental therapy and really embrace it and not be shameful of it. Because a lot of Black people say, I don't need no therapy, I'm not crazy. It's not about insanity or being mentally off. It's really just about dealing with certain things, some trauma that is so buried that you bury so deeply, you totally forgotten about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Carl, to operate in the space that you're operating, tell us a little bit about how you moved yourself from no work to getting work to an abundance of work, because you're working like crazy now in an industry that is so hard to crack into. So I'd like us all, for whatever industry we're in, to kind of take some of the gems and the inner jewels, the inner fire that you're working with, so that we can alchemize. Did I say that right? Use the alchemy of fire and change our lives. So I'd like to dive into that a little bit.
Well, first and foremost, I had to look at where I was. And where I was at the time years ago, this isn't that really long ago. It was about a little over 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. I was working a shitty night job. If anybody gets tripped on profanity, my bad. I like to curse. Anyway,
no.
Night job, making no money.
Real here in the tea room.
And what I was doing was what I had to do was I had to create a strategy for myself. I said, this is gonna be my game plan. And what I needed for that game plan to work was the right opportunity. And when I got the right opportunity, I just jumped all on it, and I went all in on this opportunity. And so I got this opportunity to direct the film for TV One, Bad Dad Rehab. And my company I was working for, they said, "Are you going to take a leave of absence to come back?" I said, "No, I'm quitting. I'm done. I'm not coming back. I got to jump out here and go full throttle and just, and hope for the very best. But this is the moment for me to get away from the situation I've been in and just step out there and just hope for the very best." And that Bad Dad led to a level of representation I obtained, which led to meetings for different people. And then that led to me getting the opportunity to direct Rebel, which led to all the other shows after that. There you go. Okay. You got me? I saw you get stuck.
It's freezing a little bit.
All right. Hold on. Let me see here.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Y'all, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We
stuck.
We got some fire happening. We heating up these lines. Okay, hold on.
All right. There you go. Now you're back. Kinda.
Hello? Can y'all hear me?
I hear you. Now you're stuck to me. Am I stuck to you?
Carl, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Woo! Can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, I hear and see you now. There you go.
Okay. And you see, sorry, y'all. I guess we firing up these lines. They're like, hold on. I see you, James Nor. We're back. So what I heard you say, Carl, where you left off was you blaze a new trail, and that all of us come to a fork in a road where we have to follow our heart and take a leap of faith. That's essentially what I did when I went left instead of going right to New York to take the secure advertising job. And when you told your job, I'm not coming back. This is who I am. You've written it out. This is your strategy. So you went through the fire and you blazed a new trail.
Yeah.
Kay Marie said, thank you for that, Carl. Yes, thank you. Carl Gilliard is saying Seaton is my favorite Kappa. Speak.
Yeah, I still can't get
our
Carl
favorite
wrong fraternity, but that's okay. Carl's a good guy. He just made the wrong choice in life. That's
I lost my train of thought there. It was some good information that I'm trying to digest. If you guys have any questions for Carl or myself, go ahead and drop it in. Daniel Fergus said the trauma of being African American holds more people back than they're willing to admit. Yes, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that's the point of these conversations. The more we keep talking, the more we keep sharing, we're realizing that we're going through this fire together, that we're not alone. Doc Camille Fuller says, I found having gratitude for the lows is what gives me the fuel and clarity to move with much more conviction towards my passion. Yes, absolutely. Gratitude is one of the tools that I use also. And I find that it amplifies when you do that. Do you find that in your life, Carl, that when you focus on what's working, the progress that you have made?
Absolutely. Like if I'm on set somewhere in the middle of the night, it's cold and rainy and wet and people would normally be miserable, I'm grateful because I could be in many other places than there. And this is what I asked for this. So I'm always grateful for the opportunity to do what I want, what I've always wanted to do for a living. So I keep that close to me so that if I ever have these moments like, man, I don't feel like doing this, I have these little reminders like, there was a moment where there was a point in time in life you couldn't do this. So I remind myself of that, and that kind of reignites me and re-energizes me. So gratitude is definitely big.
Gratitude. And another tool that's been powerful for me when I'm in that space is using the language I get to. So I get to do something. I get to be up with my children all night till 2 o'clock in the morning. I have the beauty of children. I get to pay this bill. That's a big one because a lot of us get hung up around money. But if we move in the space of what you get to do, then the life is constantly servicing you and fueling you and supporting you because you get to pay that bill, whereas somebody can't. You get to go to that directing job at 4 o'clock a.m. in the morning to be on set. So it's just a perspective shift that that can help us, I think.
I lost you again.
Can y'all see me?
I lost you. You got stuck again.
Hello?
I hear you.
Hello,
I don't see you.
Hello?
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
okay.
No. Hello?
I hear you now. There you go.
Carl?
Yeah. Am I stuck or can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
I hear you. You can't hear me?
Oh, no. Am I okay?
I hear you and I see you now.
You hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see me too?
I do. Now I don't.
All right, can you hear me now?
There you go. Yeah, I can. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Can y'all? I'm sorry, y'all. Daniel said all that preaching got the internet in its fields. Yes, the internet needs
I
some
want to say
therapy.
something to you
We got
about
some fire going on.
I want to say something else about gratitude, and a part of my gratitude is serving others, and that's kind of my approach to directing, is serving others. And when you constantly serving others, like you said earlier, you constantly get it back. When you're constantly giving out, you're constantly receiving as well. So that's my approach in serving the actors, serving the producers, and most importantly, serving the story. And in keeping that ideology, mindset, that helps me keep elevating as a storyteller.
I really love that. And I get that the idea is that we're here to give something, not get something. So if we center our life around being a distribution site of inspiration, as I've often said on this show, then you'll find that your gifts make room for you, because I don't think any of us are here for our little lives. And I'm saying little in meaning that we're so much bigger than what our personal concerns are, that you are here to service a need, to create compelling stories, to whether you're a teacher or a janitor or a plumber. It doesn't matter what the title is. The point is that we're here to be of service of something bigger than ourselves. So yes, baby, okay, Daddy, we got all kind of stuff happening today. It's okay. We're in the fire, y'all. So I'm rolling with it. It's all good. Speaking of fire, I'm going to bring on my next guest who's going to join us, Carl, who was actually born on the hottest day in July in Chicago. And her name is Miss Audrey Harris. Let me go ahead and get rid of this banner so that I can give Audrey her Carl's comment. Carl, another Chi-Town person, so we'll let that go. Oops, hold on. Sorry, y'all. One sec. There we go. So I can give Audrey her proper due. She is a working actress, singer, and motivational speaker who is highly blessed to do what she does and change lives in the process. Audrey was raised as an only child on the south side of Chicago and learned at an early age that she has the knack for performing arts and helping her community. Her first television appearance was as a solo vocalist on the nationally syndicated competition show, y'all gonna love this, Showtime at the Apollo. She was a junior at Hampton, excuse me, HU, Howard, excuse me. She was a junior at Hampton University and was majoring in theater arts. After graduating, Audrey had the opportunity to garner small roles on the hit series 6 Feet Under. And in 2007, this is when Audrey came into my life, she landed the role of Renee Devereaux in the hit stage play, The Bachelorette Party, written by Don B. Welch in association with Will Smith. The play was nominated for an NAACP Theater Award and toured nationally for over 2 years. It was reprised this past year, and there's even talks of there being a movie about it. What I love about Audrey is she's multifaceted. She has an amazing voice, and that was represented and acknowledged when she played the critical Whitney Houston in the Whitney Houston miniseries for the Reels channel, which she starred, as I mentioned. She's also in the Netflix show Drug Lords and Dear Vivian, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. And Just a Phase film, which is actually produced and written by our dear friend Kiki Haynes, which is sweeping the festival circuit. But her big break, y'all, came when she was booked as the official role of Billie Holiday. Booking the role of Lady Day for Hologram USA was a dream come true for Audrey. She is a strong woman of faith. And I want to show you guys this other picture here of her as Lady Day. Now look at this, y'all. Tell me if you can see this or if my computer is messing up. We're having some real technical issues, but it's okay. We in the fire. Can you guys hear me? Are we there? So you would be hard pressed. I don't know if you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, Carl, say something or someone drop me a chat. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh no.
I can. Can you hear me? I can
You
hear
hear
you.
me? Okay.
Yep.
So you'd be hard pressed to tell which one is Audrey Harris. Yeah, I can hear you. And are you seeing the image of Audrey Harris's Lady Day on your screen?
I am. Yes.
Are you guys with me? Can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear
Oh
you.
man. Okay. So Audrey stars as Lady Day in the Hologram USA, which was a dream come true for her. She's also a woman of strong faith. And I know this. I know her personally. I know how important her faith is to her. So the year prior, she actually was enrolled at the Loyola Marymount. I'm sorry, y'all. Having some kind of real issues here. Loyola Marymount University in their pastoral theology program, where she obtained her master's in theology. So next up for Audrey, will be reprising her role in Ted Lange's award-winning play, Four Queens and No Trumps, which she was honored. Let me pull this image up. I want you guys to see this. She was actually honored by the state of California, the United States Senate, and received the Certificate of Congressional Recognition from the U.S. House of Representatives at Congress for her live stage performance in Four Queens, No Trump. So that's a huge shout out to you, Audrey. She brings many gifts and talents to the table. And one of them in particular is her business. Oh, y'all, come on. Come on, work with me, technology. Come on. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Wow, I'm so sorry, y'all. I apologize, just bear with me. I'm gonna bring Audrey on because I'm not able to move forward. We're having some real technical glitches. So we'll talk about it when I get her. So if you can hear me, I'm going to bring on the holistic baker herself, and I'm going to let her tell you all about it. Without further ado, y'all, please give a warm welcome to Audrey Harris. Audrey, are you there?
I am. Hi, guys.
Hi. There she is. Sorry about
I'm so happy to join the fire.
Yes. And it's been some fire for sure. Apologize for all the glitches, guys. Your comments have gone away, so I don't know if you're still there, but it's okay. We're here. Oh, I see you. You're here. So Audrey, how are you? We've been talking about the fire. So tell us about your journey from moving from Chicago to Los Angeles. What was that like for you?
Oh, Jesus, that was a journey. I mean, I didn't have much to lose. I kind of came with a lot on me. Being from the South Side of Chicago, I grew up really poor. It was one of those situations where, my mom, my family, they did the best that they could. And I lost my mom right out of school. So it was a passion that just kind of came over me. Like, you can make it if you try, and I remember just packing up my U-Haul. I mean, if you look at Hampton, Virginia, the real HU, Hampton University, just want to put that out there. And
HU,
to Los Angeles, California, that is literally all the way across the map. And I can just remember packing up my U-Haul and attaching my little beat up Honda Accord and putting it on the back and looking at that map and driving all the way here. And I can remember when I got here, my apartment wasn't ready yet. So I don't think I've ever told you this before, but I actually was homeless for almost my first week here. So for me, I wasn't going back. I wasn't going back to what a lot of things that I seen on the South Side of Chicago, and I didn't want to go back to that code. And I said, I'm going to make it by any means necessary. And I remember sleeping in my U-Haul until my apartment was ready. I threw down that mattress, closed that back, and so this is not for the faint of heart, and you really have to want it. And it must have been God. I mean, it's something inside you that the passion and the desire does not die. And it's it's harder to stay a bud than it is to bloom. Like it was starting to be painful not to share my light and my giftings. Like I just get to the end of the day and God say to me, why didn't you use what I gave you? Why didn't you, why were you too scared to shine? I gave you everything that you needed. A little frozen.
Dang, this is something, y'all.
That's okay. We got that fire.
Carl, you there?
I'm still here. Yep. What's up, Audrey? How you doing?
Hey, Carl.
Whew. We really going through the fire, y'all, huh?
We are.
So let me see if I can get Audrey back on.
Okay, they said I could see the slides. Hi, Soror. Oh, somebody wants some pound cake. I see you. I got you.
So
I still see you, Audrey.
I still see you too, Carl. I see you, Carl. I see you, Chantel. Chicago's finest.
Were y'all just talking? Okay, good.
You just chopping it up.
Just chopping it up
over there.
Two of Chicago's
I'm
finest.
glad Audrey's on her best
and
behavior.
I'm Chicago adjacent.
And Carl, I'm struggling, right? I'm really trying to.
I know she's struggling. This version of Audrey, I like this version. I just don't know this version, so I'm just being real quiet. I don't know this version. I'm not gonna push it or provoke
I've gone to therapy too.
I don't know what's happening.
People could change,
Yeah. So there you go. There you go. Whatever's working is working. So I'm gonna let it ride, because the Audrey I know is not this person. So I'm gonna celebrate this growth and this blossoming of this new Audrey. But you can't go back.
You know what? I will take that in. I will take that in.
You can't go back.
I concur.
But you can't go back.
I can't go back.
You can't go back.
I can't go back.
Now I didn't know about you.
New day.
I guess we're having technical difficulties. This is a great example of how life throws you lemons. You got to make lemonade. So Audrey, I didn't know you were homeless for a week, but I understand what you're saying about once you get out here and the level of commitment, saying there's no returning, there's not going back. Because I have the same attitude. Like I can't go back to Chicago unless I can't go back. This is a one-way trip. There was no return. There was no I'm gonna see how it feels for a month or two or a year. Never did that. Never did that. Yeah. And it takes a certain mindset to do that. And it's crazy because the industry has changed so much where you don't necessarily have to be in LA anymore. Back in the day when I came, I'm an old man, unlike you're a younger woman, so you may not have the thing, but I had here. You know what I'm saying? The industry was here. It's a little more flexible now. You can be in Atlanta, New York, cities, and still audition and submit for work. But back in the day, this was the Mecca, and this is where all the business is still here. But
that's right.
That thrive that don't necessarily live here anymore.
But I've always been a fan of yours. I'm right behind you. My first headshot was black and white. Now I'm dating myself. So absolutely. And I had to overcome quite a bit to feel like I deserved to be here and that I belonged. Coming from somewhere that was so poor. I mean, I grew up right on 67th and Stony Island off of Blackstone. I mean, I took 2 and 3 buses to school because my mother said, you will not be across the hall. I don't care what they do over there, but what we do in this house, you will get an education. And it was one of those things where and you said change. I mean, in the last 5 years, with this thing, you have to constantly reinvent yourself and constantly pull back the layers. And, I'm a huge advocate. Jesus is Black. I'm a Jesus girl. But we have got to get this therapy down in our community. It can't just be coddling the Bible and not really pulling back the layers and getting into what's really going on. And I know there's technical difficulties, so I'm just gonna, keep rolling. But I know that one of the questions that Caryn really wanted to ask me about was how the Billie Holiday role changed me. And I think that role really, I was never the same after it, because it required me to take my mask off and to really tell the truth. In order to really get good as an artist, you really have to deal with yourself, and you have to tell the truth about your fears, where you're at, and really make the hard sacrifices. I mean, I've watched all my, a lot of friends and family, and just have these lives that I thought that I was foregoing. But now that I'm on the other side of things, I look and I say, I would have died at that job. I would have died if I had stayed a high school English teacher. They probably would have put me out, wild card. Like, it was not for me. Yeah. And one of the things I've had to learn in my craft and how to really get good is you have to be yourself, and you have to tell the truth. And doing a role like Billie Holiday, she sung her songs the way she wanted to sing them. She was not going through that back door and perform for you. You needed to open that front door and give her dog the most expensive prime rib steak you can find, or she is not walking up to that mic. All the abuse that our lives parallel so much, the abuse that she went through as a child, because it wasn't just, okay, this is a biopic or kind of sort about her life. I was supposed to be this woman by the estate in honor of her 100 years. I did not want to mess this up. It was a huge responsibility, and I could not do it properly without taking my mask off. In her song, she talks about sexual abuse, child abuse, some of the same things I dealt with. We both were only children, grew up really poor. My father, which was just eerie similarities, once I really started, who is this woman? Her father abandoned her at birth the same way mine did, to go and be a jazz musician, and so these people got to understand that being an artist, it takes everything that you have in order to affect change and to do it right. And you have a responsibility as an artist to tell the story and to tell it right. You're back, Sud?
I am. You guys hear me?
Okay. Okay, great.
Y'all handled it, because that's what Chicago does. That's what you do in the fire. You push through.
Because that's all we know. You know what I'm saying?
We know.
Keep it pushing.
Right. We
got no choice.
So our girl, Miss Kalila Joy, Audrey, since you came, what was the moment that really required you to push through despite the fire? I like that. And Carl, I want you to answer that after that. Audrey, you first, please.
Okay.
Here.
Woo! Miss Joy. I would say, honestly, about maybe, I know exactly when it was. And this is how, when you do what God asks you to do, I had really gotten to a point, and it was right when I decided to go to school. At that point, I was really, really suffering with depression. And I think that my friends, you guys know that, how I lost my mom I just had a lot of stuff that I had to carry here. It wasn't baggage that I picked up along the way. It was bags as a little girl that I'm carrying at 11. I'm carrying at 15, burying my mother at 21. So I think I kind of when you hit rock bottom, I hit rock bottom financially. I think there's nowhere to go but up. So I said, okay, all right, Jesus, I'm listening, because I'm not getting blessed in what I'm doing. And I know I've sold into it. And I know that I've worked hard. I'm going to stop and I'm going to go to school. And I'm going to, because I know a lot of people was like, she's in seminary school and she's doing exceptionally. What is this? Is she's going to be a minister? But a lot of that was me going back as well to what I know, which is my faith. You know, a lot of people have things that pull them up out of the fire. For me, my faith has been it. So I think that was the turning point where I said, okay, you need to do something different. And then as soon as you kind of, because I was holding on to it so tight, and then as soon as you let it go, then literally I think I had been in school for maybe 2 months, and I got a call from the Billie Holiday estate that I had booked the role. So I think, yeah, it was just me just saying, okay, you know, we need a paradigm shift here. I look greasy. Hold on, y'all. We don't do that in the shop. Hold on, baby. Wait a minute, honey.
I got
wait a minute.
It sounded good. I felt it. Carl, I'm coming to you, Carl. Thank you for that, Audrey.
What you got to say,
Thank
Carl?
you for that. Because you
thank you.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
I said, thank you, Audrey. That was powerful. And I'm kicking it to you, Carl. Somebody tell Carl. Put it in the chat so I can put it up here.
Maybe can you hear her, Carl?
I can hear you. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm getting the question correct from Kalila, who's an amazing actress, by the way, and I look forward to working with her one day. So I guess one of my lowest points, I went through a 3-year depression, and what really brought, like I said before, what brought me out of it was really tapping back into my joy. But I guess the first step was acknowledging the depression, and so it's steps. Number one, I had to acknowledge the depression. Then I had to take personal accountability, because while I was in that depression, I was so angry. I was mad at all these other folks, and putting all the blame on, this is why this happened. This is why this happened. And it wasn't until I said I'm here and all this happened because it was all my fault. And once I took all of the blame and shouldered that blame and said, okay, here's what I did wrong, and here's the lesson I'm going to learn. I stopped looking at it as a fail and started looking at it as a lesson. So the biggest thing, because one of my biggest fears was failing, was to be more specific, was making a terrible film, until I made a terrible film. And if you make a terrible film, it's like, oh man, the world is over. Especially when you care about what you're making and you care about your content and you care about your work and your effort, it's devastating until you go through it. And you say, okay, now let me look at what I've learned from this and use this to strengthen my voice and my vision and so forth. But it took a long time to get to that. So that was my low point that I had to push through. And it wasn't like a week or two. It took some years to go through that. Do you hear me?
I can. Yeah, that was. Thank you for sharing that. That was really powerful, Carl.
I guess
Caryn.
I guess Caryn.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So that's what that was. So but it's a constant. It's like constant waves. You know what I'm saying? I can't say you get to the point in your life and everything's gonna be peachy keen. You keep living, you're gonna face adversity. And I'm loving the fact that we're having these technical difficulties, because it's a great example of how you may have a game plan and something happens to totally twist that game plan, and you either sit down out or get mad or just quit,
cry about it,
or you figure it out and you just keep moving. So the biggest thing is you just got to keep moving. You constantly got to keep thinking of ways. You want to be a problem solver and constantly seek out.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You can bitch and moan all day long, and you can find pity parties. And that's the thing about LA too. If you're looking for pity parties, it's a gang of pity parties
everywhere you turn.
Yeah,
it's somebody.
And pity parties are like a fleeting joy. I mean, you enjoying being around this pity party, but once you leave, you right back where you started. So they don't really give you any nutritional value. So you want to get away from that and become a problem solver, and start thinking in an optimistic way. And you have to kind of train yourself to do that and remove yourself from places where you're like, if I go over there, we're gonna hang out, it's gonna be fun, then it's gonna turn into a pity party. Because everybody's angry because they're not where they want to be. And I don't want to be in that place. And if you go to that environment and you try to shift it from being a pity party, you end up getting attacked. You say, okay, you know what? This environment is the best for me. So you constantly have to be mindful of the environments you put yourself in, because they can be just as toxic as what's going on in your mind.
Absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, I see a lot of people, they find they get their blessing, and I see them work so hard to get it. And then they're still not happy because they haven't watered and fostered other areas of their lives, whether it's their relationships with their friends, whether it's other things that are important to them. Like I went back to school and I always wanted to go back to school. Whether it's their personal health, I mean, whatever it is, and you have to live a well-rounded life, you know, and you have to live in a space of gratitude. I mean, that pity party, that's a no-go. And I mean, I don't even think the universe created, you can't even flow creatively with that. You know, it's just like your chakras are blocked. Not even speaking about how you have to stay financially stable out here. You know, this is such an expensive city. And I mean, you can just get into your feelings about not having money to go to lunch.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is real. And Instagram, I mean, that's not life. You know, is I have to pull myself off of social media a little bit, you know, and it's just a moment where you just have to be a real person and get real with yourself and get real laser focused and purposeful about what you're doing, because my birthday is at the end. I cannot believe, where did the years go? All the time. If I had known what I know now, my God, you know, but you know, everything is a drop in the bucket. You know, I try not to live with regrets. You know, I try not to beat up on myself, you know, and it's really taking a deep breath and moving forward. And it's a journey, and it's an everyday journey. And you got to do this every day. Yeah. As soon as your feet hit the ground, I start reaching for that phone. It's okay, so what are we doing today? Because we're not doing that. We are not going back there. It's almost like a drug addict.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so it's a daily ritual. You can't take days off. You really have to constantly, it has to be instinctive for you. It has to become so common and so ritualistic that you do it effortlessly. You don't even think about it. You're just doing it. So I totally agree.
Yeah, it's a muscle, just like working out. You know, but once you get it, but muscle has memory, and once you get going with it, you know, then you're in this rhythm, and you know, you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's funny because LA. First of all, let me take it back to what you said about social media, because you do have to detox from social media, because I look at social media as like tips of icebergs, where you have this one perception that people have, and people think that's the reality, and there's a whole other world going on. And when you learn to step back and see it for what it is, you have to take its power away, because you can also fall into a trap of constantly feeling the need to measure yourself up against others, and
that's not real. That's not even real.
Right. This is a marathon and not a sprint. And what your race is your race, because you know you're not going to run no 4-minute mile, so you're not going to win this race. So the way you run a marathon is how you run a marathon. And it's really about enduring and consistency. So when you remind yourself of that, you don't worry about who's in front of you, who's next to you, or who's behind you, because once you start taking your eyes on what you're doing, looking at who's beside you and behind and forth, you start taking your eyes off the prize.
Can you guys hear me?
There you go. Yeah, we can.
That's right. All right, Carl, I see you now. We can hear you, side.
Hey, what's up, Khalil? Hey.
What is happening? What is going on?
Today is your birthday. Today is your birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Audrey.
Why y'all do this to me?
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
Surprise!
You are so welcome.
Thank you. I turned 29 today.
Yup.
Oh, this was so sweet. Oh, thank you so much, guys.
Surprise, Audrey!
We love you.
Oh, bye. Shout out to Kiki Hay. Oh,
That's all nice.
Mama O in the building. Hi.
Hey.
Oh, Loba. Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, y'all.
Happy birthday, son.
Happy birthday.
I really got vodka in here, and I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
Oh my gosh. Little whiskey in my cup. Oh, this is the best, y'all. This is
Wait, Carl Seaton, you didn't know we were coming?
No, I did not. No.
I didn't know y'all.
Well, you weren't supposed to know, Audrey. This is for you.
Yes.
Caryn told me to show up. I showed up. That's all I knew. She said, show up at 12. I said, I'm here at 12. That's all I knew. This is beautiful, y'all. This is dope. This what's up.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Audrey.
Oh, me champagne. I want to go. Oh, man.
shout out.
It's water.
Somebody can't
It's water.
1997.
Yeah, drink the substance of life.
Right here.
It's cold coffee.
Oh,
my sister here. Oh God, my sister here.
Hey.
Wait. Hey, Marie's not there.
There she is.
There's Lassa. Did you see K Marie?
What's up, K. Marie?
happy birthday, Marie. Even you too, Carl.
Which one?
Yeah, which one? I renamed myself Chicago Carl.
See, Audrey, you're doing good, Audrey. You're doing good. Don't lose it. Don't lose it.
I
You're
know.
doing good right now.
You know, I can only hold it for so long. Working on it.
Oh, no, we lost Caryn.
Caryn.
Oh.
Oh, what's up with that?
I'm driving.
How you doing?
Kiki.
I'm
Kiki
good.
driving.
Mom and I in the car. We actually don't want to bring it down. We had to just finalize the bill for the services yesterday, so we're just pulling off from the funeral home. But we're in the parking lot, turning up for you right now.
That's right. Turn it up.
Sending y'all love. Oh, no.
Hey. Oh, sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. I'm trying to drive and hold this, and then the mom hold it.
I'll hold it.
Okay.
I'll hold it.
Wait, like that. Okay, that's better. All right. Sorry.
Big hugs, guys. Big hugs.
Yes.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think I don't know if it cuts off after an hour or what happens.
I don't think so. I think this is different than Zoom, so this is a different platform.
I
It might
think
just keep going.
It's StreamYard, and it's got some tech issues. I use it sometimes, and it does this all the time. So she'll be back.
Okay.
It's a tech issue.
What's important is that you have a fabulous, wonderful, unforgettable day today.
Like that, mommy.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's
And
right.
I'm charging to hold this phone. I just want y'all to know.
You gotta hold on your face though, right here.
Oh, my face.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it's an executive order. You must have a fabulous time and have a fabulous dinner and a fabulous night. So everybody there, make sure that happens. From
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Orders
Yes,
received.
They already have. Thank you.
I'm at a
Yes.
stoplight. I'm like trying to get in at the stoplight.
So,
It's good to see
Audrey,
y'all.
what do
This
you
is
want this
wonderful.
year? For this year of your life, what are you looking forward to? I know it's a weird year, but
You froze, Leila.
oh shoot, did I? Sorry, I was just. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I was just saying, what are you looking forward to in this next year of life? I know we're in a very crazy time right now, but what do you want to see for yourself?
You froze, Leila.
Yes, again.
He said, "What would you like for your life this year?" It's a strange year, but what would you like to see happen in your birthday year, in spite of these strange times? Hear that?
I mean, us not getting killed in the street and us getting this clown out of office would be just fine for me, which would equal for peace.
Right.
Peace. How about we charge Breonna Taylor? We'll see if these cops get convicted. That would be a great birthday gift.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
Word.
That's deep.
Some peace. Ooh, 2020, you win, baby. You win. Hands up. You win. So, and peace, and I just want to see continued amplified happiness for all of my friends. I mean, this is my tribe right here, the people who I want to impress most, the people that really matter most. You know what I'm saying? The fans and that's great, but when it comes down to it, you just want the people around you to be proud of you and to see you for who you are and to value you for your true unique giftings. And I mean, whatever I say I am, y'all on board with it. I'm an actor, y'all on board with it. I'm singing, y'all on board with it. I want to go back to school, y'all on board with it. I want to make brownies, y'all on board with it. So, I'm grateful. I couldn't ask for more. Really. I mean, I have an amazing time.
Hi, Caryn.
She's back.
Hi, Lord.
Welcome to the show, Caryn. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to your
Talking.
I don't think she can hear.
I can't hear. Caryn, I can't hear.
Oh,
Yeah. She said she loves you, or us, or somebody.
that. Hey, hold on. I
There
didn't
she
know.
goes.
You
She's
know,
back, she's
stuff.
back.
How good
Is that Andre?
it is.
That's
It
cooked.
was extra dry. What you saying? It was pretty good.
No, that's Boone's Farm.
California
That's Boone's Farm. Boone's Farm. Is that Boone's Farm?
That's
No, it's
Andre.
not. I know I can do Boone's Farm. Okay.
That was my daddy's favorite wine. My daddy, was it Strawberry Hill? That's my daddy's favorite wine growing up. Boone's Farm.
That's Bar Central. No.
I hate to tell you, Carl, that is not wine.
Boone's Farm, not wine?
It is my household when I'm growing up. It was that my daddy says wine. That's my daddy said.
Okay,
What's that say?
Okay, Caryn, what is happening? What
It
is
says the
happening?
connect.
What?
Do you want us to wrap it up? I don't know. What's the sign, Carl?
I
Direct
can't.
us. Direct us.
Really help me. What's going on?
It says
Oh, the comments. The comments.
the
We all
comments.
rise like the phoenix.
Oh,
Oh,
Caryn says she hopes
the
the
comment.
wines like the phoenix.
got it.
That's what she was trying to say. Oh, yes. We hope you continue to rise, and the two little ones, and monogamy, and Craig like the phoenix as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Carl.
Okay, so
Really are.
listen to this show, and you guys are an integral part of my tribe, but I never realized how much we all had in common. I mean, from the time that Caryn signed on, I felt that she'd been in my pocket, watching me for all of my years, because our journey is so perilous. I mean, you know, I was in advertising for a while. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. I did not know that.
I did.
No.
I did. I was in that for like 13 years. And my wife, when she left this morning, she left me with a message very similar to what the show is about. So you guys are amazing. You guys are blessed. I can go back to bed right now and just sleep for a few hours. You guys have really filled me up with some great information, some great knowledge, empowerment. You guys are wonderful.
Yes.
And Carl, speaking, you're my hero. You're my favorite Kappa, man.
Carl, if you were an alpha, you'd be a great guy.
He's exactly where he needs to be. He's exactly where he needs to be.
That's right, baby.
Nisa, what's our game? What's ours, Nisa? My mom's AKA too. My mom is AKA.
Yes, she
Nisa,
is. Yeah,
well,
true, K-Marie.
my sister and I are me by me.
Yeah.
We're me.
K Marie is an AKA too.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
We can hear you.
You guys all are.
Huh?
So, Carl, thank you for that. You guys, thank you so much for that, Carl. Everybody check out 2 Degrees.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the first
I look like I'm
episode
throwing
of
up the white.
as well.
You are, and you were a shining star in that, my
Yes.
sister. You killed me.
Somebody said, why Caryn internet on Teddy Riley?
Because you went to Howard. I keep saying this. There was even a meme out like that. You know what?
Stop it. He said Caryn doing wardrobe changes. Okay, y'all. So,
That's hilarious.
go ahead, Mama. My mama said my dad and my grandpa were Kappas. So there you go.
Okay.
Hey, Caryn, you gotta call this eliminator.
Oh, Dr. Milton. So, all right, y'all. So I hope you
Eliminator.
guys had a good time today. Right. Celebrating you, Carl, and the trailblazer that you are.
Thank you for holding the torch for us and lighting the way, because you're doing some things. It's important to acknowledge our leaders and our people. So I'm really honored to have you. So let's just all. Your tribe has you, Carl.
Well, let me know. I mean, I got a lot of work to do because I can't just sit here and bask in whatever I've achieved. I gotta reach back, like somebody reached back for me. So you know, it's not over. It doesn't begin and end with me. I'm just the next continuation, so that this next generation may not have to endure as much as I endure, so that they can flourish and create, and all that good stuff. So
yes, thank you for that. So last two things I'll say to wrap this out. Just flowing love to our girl Kiki. Lots of love. We love you, Kiki.
We love you.
She can hear us
so much.
And
that was Western beef.
The phoenix rises from the ashes. And for those of us who may be burning and feeling the heat, my wish is that we expand into the truth of who we are and go forth powerfully and live our life purpose. So you guys are all my purpose. I appreciate you. Audrey, your birth, July 25th, is on purpose. Lighten up the sky. We love you. We honor you. We appreciate you. We see God in you. No, y'all shouldn't.
We're unmuted.
Yeah.
We're unmuted, Kiki.
Lassa.
Happy birthday.
So should we go? Should we kick it off? Did y'all do it already?
No, we didn't do it. Go ahead, Nisa.
Okay, go ahead.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to Shell. Happy birthday to my Shell.
Pass it, Kalila.
Well, that's the end.
Go ahead, Marker.
Happy birthday. Take it, K. Marie.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Woo! Take it, Kiki.
Go ahead, Kiki.
Nope. She is frozen. She's frozen.
Don't ask me to
sing. Happy birthday, Audrey. That's the point.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We love you.
Thank you to all your folks. Thank you to Doc Camille, William, Alexi. I see you, Boo Thomas, D. Ferg, S. Gray with your humor. Thank you to everybody. All your comments. Love you guys. Please spread the word. Like it. Everybody needs to see this. I appreciate you guys. Let's rise up like the phoenix. Bye.
Good to see you, Carl. Love you, Audrey. I call you.
All right, y'all.
Bye, Carl.
Okay, wait. Be safe.
Oh, Kiki wants to say something. Kiki wants to say something.
Oh, Yoba, I'm here.
Okay. Here? Okay, wait, I just parked. I'm sorry. First of all, I love you so much. You know that. We have been aces since bachelorette party. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been driving. You guys know why I'm in New Jersey. My dad's funeral was yesterday. We're wrapping up all of this stuff. But, my father would say every day there's deaths and every day there's lives. And we're supposed to celebrate life to the fullest, which is why it was important for me to wear my seatbelt, about to put my mask on, go in here to pick up some stuff for the house for the after reception. But I want to let you know that you are an extraordinary human being. You have supported me through everything. Your roses outshined anybody's flowers at the services.
Oh,
literally.
Magnificent.
People were like bidding on could they buy some of them, and we were like, no. I just wish nothing but the best for you. I know 2020 has been an incredibly challenging year for so many of us, but I know for a fact we're going to get out of this. You look beautiful. I always tell you this. I think you're so extraordinarily talented. I believe that your best is yet to come. Mm-hmm. And I know you have a billboard on Hollywood Boulevard, but I think you're going to get a billboard in Dubai. I feel like it can get bigger than Hollywood Boulevard. Okay?
That's the goal.
And, I just think you're an extraordinary, amazing human being.
Whoa, let me cry again. Come on, y'all.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, Loba.
Absolutely, absolutely. You are, like Kiki said, amazing. Don't you ever forget it. Anybody ever questioned it, tell them to call me.
I will. They don't want to deal with Mama O. They should
I'm
not.
back in Jersey. Got the Jersey, got the gangster
Jersey.
going on right now. All right. I gotta run into this place.
Oh, thank you, Lola.
Bye,
Thank you, Carl.
Bye, everybody.
Love
Happy
you.
birthday. Happy birthday, beautiful theologian.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Everybody. Love you guys.
Bye.
Be safe.
Love you too.
Bye.
Over here. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I don't want to hang up. Let's just keep going.
We'll Zoom later.
What do you say?
I said let's just keep going.
She
Bye,
said we
guys.
just want to
Bye,
hang up.
everyone.
We'll Zoom
Thank you for
later.
everybody watching the replay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Love you, sir.
Hopefully I can sign this thing off. I don't know. Whew.